Roman Just Codes. This is season 1, episode 4 of Live Coding After Hours, where I'm going to be developing Angular applications, Angular PWAs. In this episode 4 of season 1, I'll be creating. I'm going to be continuing on the previous episodes. But for this season, I'll be developing a full-blown PWA in Angular. So I'll be using Angular 11. You'll hear me throw terms like Firebase authentication, Firebase cloud messaging. I'm going to be hosting this application, this PWA, in Firebase hosting. I'll be using the real-time database and Cloud Firestore, and some of those aspects of Firebase, which bring a lot of richness and a lot of features to your applications. But at the end, again, we just want to, do live coding in this live streaming. So I truly appreciate all of you joining in this session for this particular episode. So why don't we go right ahead? So in the previous episode, I started, again, I continued on this application, the Toursy application. For those of you who just joined, I'm gonna recap a little bit on what this project is about. So this is originally a native application developed in Flutter. I developed it myself. It's free for you to download. If you go to my portfolio, you can see the application right here. This is again, for those of you who haven't visited, romanjustcodes.web.app is my personal page, my portfolio. Here I'm of course advertising the live streaming that I'm doing right now. And if you go down where it says my apps, you will see this application right here. It's free to download. Toursy is available for iOS and Android. And what it is, Toursy is an application. It's a hand-curated list of touristic attractions from the Dominican Republic. So I just try to compile like the best attractions in Dominican Republic. If you're trying to travel, if that's your plan, if you want to have a vacation in Dominican Republic, this will tell you what are the hottest spots, the best place for you to visit and whatnot are compiled in one single application. It gives you like a nice map view of where those locations are. I'm going to be continuing adding more features, but the point of this episode is to actually build up on what I've been doing on this application, because for this season I'm going to be porting over this native application into an Angular PWA to kind of bring it full circle, to show you how you can actually implement, like using web technologies, you can implement these type of applications kind of like in a write once run anywhere type of strategy, where you build application like this robust with a lot of like mobile first capabilities, just using web technologies, and Angular PWAs like lend themselves for this type of situations, right? So this is the application. This is in Adobe XD, how I developed it, like how I developed the prototype. I encourage people to use this tool. It's free, Adobe XD, and then you can prototype your application. You can once you're satisfied with the design, it gives you a lot of cool things to use, and a lot of features. Also, it allows you to generate like cool assets from this tool that you can use straight into your application, like generate SVGs and whatnot. But I like this tool overall to kind of prototype my applications before I even lay down the first line of code. So without further ado, again, for those of you who were here in the previous episode, this is where we left off. So let me just refresh the application. We have a splash screen. We showed kind of like the main page, as you can see right here. So we already have the main page. We already have like the details page right now. We even did like some scrolling. We even showing like some of the YouTube videos in there. If you go back home, you get this the tab navigation, which I created in a custom way. Again, this is not to say that you shouldn't be using any libraries out there. Like, I definitely recommend a bunch of those. But the point of this season and these episodes per se is to teach you how to create all these components in a very lightweight fashion, very tightly coupled, encapsulated, very independent from one another, and reusable. So that component right there, this tab component, I just custom created, just using the minimum amount of JavaScript and like TypeScript, HTML and CSS, and you can then make those reusable. So it's not to say, again, not to use external libraries, but I like to make my applications very lightweight, very minimal footprint, and with a minimal amount of code, to make them more robust, more much light, a faster execution, and they're not bloated with other libraries. So, but again, do encourage use those, but this is also for us to learn how to create those things, how those things were created. Anyway, so let's continue. So I have the tab going on here. In this episode, I'm going to be bringing this the site navigation. So the site navigation is this. I'm going to be using one of my. I think I already mentioned it in previous episodes, where I've posted a couple of Medium blogs, some blog posts. And this in particular, this blog post refers to an Angular PWA sidebar for your Angular web app. So this is exactly the same sidebar that I'm going to be bringing over. So I created this component. It is in my is available in my GitHub repo. You can clone it, copy it, fork it, whatever you want to do it. This is for you guys. This is a simple site navigation, which gives you like some sort of options for doing like the direction and whatnot. So I'm going to be using this one in particular. So why don't we use this one? I'm just going to port over the code. I'm just going to do copy paste. I'm going to move this over to the side. And in my application, I think I can just do it right here from the command line. So I'm going to start creating that Site Nav component, right? So if I do this, and then I'm in the, oops, sorry. So let me actually delete this. So I'm in the application again. So I'll just cd into the source, app, components, and inside of my components, then I'm going to create that component. So I'll do nggc, ng generate component, site nav. So it will be site nav component. So it will create that type of component. I'll take a sip of water. And by the way, a shameless plug to my personal store, like the merchandise store, where you could get cool swag like this sweater, like this hoodie. You can get t-shirts, you can get mugs like that, and a bunch of other merchandise. Let me just show it real quick. If you go to the store, to Spreadshirt, actually I have it in spreadshirt.com. So if you go to Spreadshirt, actually you can even find it through my blog, to my personal website. If you scroll down and you look at more products, you can actually shop some of that merchandise. This is one of the hoodies that I'm wearing. So please feel free to grab any of these swag if you like it. You like some of these stuff, you will actually be supporting me as well. So I truly appreciate if you want to grab like one of these pieces of swag. So shameless plug right there. Awesome. Let's continue. So here, I think let me cancel out of this. I already created the component, so the component should already be created. That's the site nav. So I'm going to be bringing those pieces, like those other components, right? So I have it right here on the side. I mean, I don't have anything to hide. I'll just go inside my source, app, components, site nav, not the content. I'm sorry. I'll go to the site nav instead, and then I'll grab the HTML that represents the site nav bar. So I'll copy this, paste it in the markup. I'll grab the CSS as well. If you see, I'm using SCSS, so I can just grab this piece right here. So I'll just copy the whole thing. It's easy. I'll show you how to how easily you can just implement it in your own applications as well. So I'll paste that in there. I'll go to the TypeScript file, and then I'll do like encapsulation, view encapsulation.none. Perfect. Now I'll grab then, of course, the TypeScript from here as well. So I'll grab everything in. Sorry about that. I'll grab everything inside of my, the class. I can explain a little bit of what this is doing. So I'll just, let me collapse this guy here, bring this down lower. So pretty much I have a couple of inputs because I want to make this component, sorry. I want to make this component like very reusable, so I can pass stuff into it. So I can pass the duration. The duration would be like how long the sliding occurs in the site nav bar. The nav width, like it will take by default the width of the page, But if not, you can provide like a hard-coded number, and then that would be like a predefined a number. It doesn't have to be hard-coded. You can just pass it in. And then this site nav direction, which is an enum that I created. And then you have like site nav direction left, right, or what are the options? I think I have like a couple of options on that. So if I just come over and then do site nav direction, see, I just left or right, that's it. So the navigation either shows from the left or from the right. That's totally fine. So I'll print the observable. I'll say, do that. Site nav direction, I have to create it as a separate constant. So I'll come over here and add a new file, and then I'll do site -nav direction.ts. And then all I'm going to do is just import that enum. There we go. So I have the site nav direction. There it is. So let me import it. And then site nav direction, I'll just import it like that. There you go. Navigation service, I'm missing to create one service. I'll do that as well. Here again, the way to initialize, like an observable. Like an observable with a value, let's say for example like an observable of a boolean. How do you do that? Like how do you properly like initialize it? Like sometimes here you could either do like null or you could do undefined, but how do you do that? Let's say here there are multiple ways of for example, like if you doing this, the way that I do it is either like in this particular case, what I can do is actually subscribe to it and just assign like a boolean to it. Like I could just say boolean, like I'm gonna just change this so I can show you how the navigation works. So I'll just make boolean false for now, and then instead of being the observable itself, so I'm just going to subscribe to it, because this is like the way that you do with observables. Like you can either subscribe to that, or you can use the async keyword in the markup, and then immediately that kind of like subscribes and cleans up after itself, like unwraps the observable value. Here I want you to see the actual observable value. Well, why don't I just create the service first, and then I'll show you what it does. So I'll create a folder called services. Inside of the services, then I'll come back to this in a second so you can see. So I'll go back out and cd into the services. I'll create a service called nav service. If you look in the repo, there's also a service that, because what I do is actually I create a service so that anywhere on the page you are and you click somewhere where you trigger the showing of the navigation, it occurs. So the component is very decoupled. It's not tied to any other component. And then in a very decoupled fashion, you can just trigger the site navigation to open, and it will open. So let me show you how that does it. So I'll do. So I created the services folder, and then right in there I'm gonna say what am I calling my service? I just call it navigation. That's it. So I'll do ng generate service navigation like that. I'll copy the navigation service from here from the repo. So I have the repo right here, and then once the service is created, I can just come over here and let me just bring this down also and just paste it. And look, this is a very simple service. So this service pretty much has like a behavior subject, and this behavior subject, what it will do is will hold the value of the state, pretty much. Like it will hold the state of whether the navigation is open or not. And then that way other components that are listening to that or are interested in getting in on the action, like, oh, is it open, or can I close it as well? So they could use this global, kind of like state value for the site navigation bar, and then you can use it throughout your application, because I'm wrapping it inside a service that you can inject anywhere. So the router is just so that I could listen for the events, whether I'm navigating in and out of pages. And then when any of these navigations occur, I'll just close it. That's exactly what this is doing. So I'm listening for events on the router service. If any navigation occurs or anything, I'll just hide the navigation. That's it. The rest is I have like getters and setters around this behavior subject, show nav. And like, remember, the one that I'm actually going to be tapping into right now is this, because I'm going to return it as an observable using the get show nav. So I'll return it as an observable. I can use the set show nav to set that behavior subject, and then whoever's listening to it, it will just respond to it. Angular, what it will do is just propagate the value and like, you know, trigger one of the life cycle, the digestive cycle, right? And then it will just trigger it, right? Whoever's listening to this. Okay, so let's continue. So if I come over again back to the Site Nav bar, I will inject the navigation service because I already have it created. So I'm importing it. Now in the get show nav, I'll just say subscribe, and then here I'll do like show nav, and then here I'll do this dot show site nav equals show nav. So I'm subscribing, and I'll get the value of whoever changes whoever sets show nav, the get show nav will, because it's listening to that behavior subject as an observable, I'm gonna be receiving a notification when that changes. So I will be doing that here in this particular point. See, on the sidebar close actually calls the navigation service set show nav, which in turn this guy listens it, and then it listens to it and then acts upon that. So all I have to change is here is just that I'm not going to be using, at this point, I'm not going to be using the show site nav as an async, like using async. I'm just going to use it normally. I will have to do like some, you know, the way that you do it is either you do it using the async keyword, which is the most recommended way, of course. I strongly recommend it. It's just for the sake of this tutorial, and then just showing you this, I'm just gonna get it to work real quick for you guys. So then all I have to do here, for example, instead is actually I can create like a subscription. I'll hold on to that subscription. So I'll say show site nav sub, and then I'll make it a subscription. Subscription. There we go. And then I'll just keep it null for now, whatever. Actually, I can even, yeah, well, it says subscription, right? But then I can even do like a, let me see, new subscription, like for example, something like that, right? Okay, there you go. So I just keep it like that, because anyway, what I'm doing is here, when I do the subscribe, I'll do this dot show site nav sub. I'll hold on to that subscription right there, because in the ng on destroy, I will do a proper cleaning of that subscription. So I'll just do unsubscribe. And the best way to do it, of course, you have to implement the on destroy. It already adds itself up there. I'll be using this later, but I can remove it for now. I'm using the subscription. So there you go. Perfect. Later, I'll change it again back to being like an observable of that. But for now, let's do it like this. So far, I think I've already ported over all the code. Now in the header, remember this little icon right here, the header component. So this guy, I'm gonna perform like a click event, and then I'm gonna call it like on toggle menu. And then on toggle menu, what it will do is then it will trigger that set show nav, and then by setting that to true, it will trigger that component to just slide out. So here I will add that event, and then here is where I'm gonna do the, you know, set show nav, and then I'll show you now. So I have to create a constructor in the header component. So I'll do a constructor, and then I'll inject the navigation service. So navigation service, navigation service. There it is. And I don't need to do anything in the constructor, but here in the toggle menu, what I'll do is this navigation service that set show nav to true. I'll set it to true. Sorry, when I click on that item, on that little hamburger menu, and then of course I need to add that new component where I want to use it. So in the app that component, right under the splash screen, I'll do. Let me see how it got created. So here the selector is called app site nav. I'm just going to remove the app piece, and I'm just going to keep it site nav. So going to the app.component, I'll just do site-nav. That's it. It will just use the default values if I just drop it like that. Remember, the default value is like the width, is like the width of the window. So I can actually do, for example, like my own stuff. So I can do direction left. I can do the nav width and the duration. This other input is actually if I'm going to inject any new component in there, which I'll do later, not right now. So let's just keep that on hold. For this, I'll just grab like at least these two values I need. The direction left is already the default. So if I just add those two values in here, and then if I save that, now let's save all, because I've done so many changes that you haven't even seen a single piece, anything moving yet. So you might be getting freaked out, but don't be. Let's refresh. Actually, of course, might just kill this thing. Let's do npm start. Then this is actually even better because I'm rebuilding the whole application with all the changes that I made. Let's make sure that at least this application is working as expected. When I click on that on the hamburger menu, I should see that side nav bar just like sliding out. So if I click, there you go, boom. That's it, very, very smooth. And look at that, even the component has like an overlay that if you click on the overlay, and then you click on this close button, it also closes itself. So it still works perfectly fine, the same way that it was working before. So I can do that. You can click on you can click on the overlay and then it dismisses itself. So again, feel free to use this very cool simple site nav. You can just copy paste the 3 pieces of code, create the service. Anywhere where you want to invoke it, you just do set show nav, and then you should be able to see that. Perfect, awesome. So we've already added the navigation, so it's already there. The site navigation. We can, and then we already created like our first service, so that was pretty cool. So what else can we move on to do? So I can try, for example, creating the well, the profile page is when we get to the Firebase authentication piece. I can also continue creating some of the other pages like top rated, by region, by activity, map view. Right now I have it hard coded. I have it hard coded to just like something in the page, but we can start creating maybe the HTTP services that will actually be talking to my endpoints, and then I can pull the information from the actual service as opposed to hard coded. We can try to do that as well. So why don't we do that? Let's try that. So here, there you go. If I refresh it, you'll see that. Perfect. This is working. Cool. So actually, even another component that I created like a spinner. So a spinner would actually work well whenever you do like HTTP calls and whatnot. And then before any HTTP call, it will just show the spinner for you, and then at the end of the call, it will just hide the spinner as well. So you can definitely do that. So very simple. So I can do I can show you real quick, for example, like one approach that on how I do those type of services that actually fetch the information from they fetch information from those endpoints. So I can come over here to my services. Let me just hide all these things. And then here I'm still on the services. So the way that I do it is I usually create like a proxy service. Like I wrap the HTTP implementation around around the HTTP client module from Angular, and then I create the like entry points into that. So everything is encapsulated within this service. So I can inject it anywhere, and I don't have to inject the HTTP client anywhere. What if I change the implementation underneath it? What if I want to create like a mocked version of this service, and then I can just inject it and perform like and do like unit testing on those services. So it's a good way, it's a good pattern for you to do that. So you wrap the HTTP client module around a service. So why don't we do that? So I usually call it like ng generate service. I call it like proxy, and then it's going to be called proxy service. If you see, for example, here in the so in my services, there's my proxy service. Perfect. There we go. And then of course, don't forget that in your app, in your module, you actually want to be bringing the HTTP client module. So in your app module, you can just come over here. Of course, I need to change this thing right here. Give me 1 second. So the Site Nav component. So if I go import Site Nav component from, so I have the components, Site Nav component. There we go. Perfect. So that's much better. I think I just needed to fix that piece right there. So I need to import the those modules, like the HTTP client modules. So I have to do import HTTP client module, and then you could do it is from, you do from Angular / a common dash HTTP. So you import your HTTP client module, you add it as part of your imports. So you could just do HTTP client module. There you go. And then after that, you can just, again, make sure that your service, let's say the service that we just created, the proxy service. So let me go to services, and then I go proxy service. There you go. So I'm actually looking here on the side. I'm looking at the actual Flutter application, kind of like how I created it, how I created those endpoints, and then I need those particular endpoints. So I created like a repository where I create like all the endpoints. So I have one for get all activities, get all region data. So I have one for get all attractions, get attractions by activity, get top attractions. Why don't we start with those first, and then I'll create like endpoints for each one of these. The way that I create the endpoints and how I wrap things around the application like that, so that you can actually see, so that you can actually, you know, in a very simple way, I can wrap those services. So let me show you. So I'll do this. Let me just open it. Okay. Let me try that. So I will do. Okay, perfect. So in my proxy service, of course, the first thing that I'll do, for example, like in Flutter, of course, is a totally different beast. But in Angular, let's say you want to do the proxy service, you have to inject the HTTP client. So the first thing that you do is inject the private HTTP client, and then you import the HTTP client. So that's the first thing that you import. So the HTTP client, right? So it's there from Angular, comma, blah, blah, blah. So then, of course, you need to have like the main endpoint. The main endpoint for me would be like this guy. So let me show you. So this would be like the main endpoint, and I can create it like as a constant, like outside of the class or whatever if I want to do that. So I can do like I can say const base URL. I'm sorry, I misspelled it. So const base URL. Sorry. Equals, and then I do this. So that is my main URL. So this is where all my endpoints are coming from. Like this is where, where I have the services hosted is in that cloud function in Google Cloud. And then all my other endpoints will be based off of that, right? So I need one for like get attractions, let me see, the three that I'm going to be doing is, let me actually type it here. So I have to do, I need one for get all attractions. I need one for get attractions by activity, and then I do one for the let me see, get top attractions. So that is like this first one right there, get top attractions. And since I don't have that many, I just make that call. I don't have to even like, you know, each one of those is actually like, see, top rated by region, by activity, and then by region. I just, out of all of them, I just sort them, and then I generate like per region. So I do it very simple. We can definitely improve on that later, but I'll just do the basic ones, and then I'll do the, like, I'll just perform the calls. So the first thing, again, this is the base URL, and then each one of these calls actually will be returning some sort of payload, or like, you know, that object. So the first thing that I do is I create methods that return an observable. So I can subscribe to those, because these actions, all these calls will be asynchronous. So I call, for example, this one, get all attractions. Sorry, attractions And then I'm not gonna get anything. I'm just looking at the endpoints. I don't pass anything. So you say get all attractions. You just like all attractions, right? And then the endpoint will just be returning an observable. Well, let's do like observable if any for now. So like at least we could see what we get back. And then what I need to return after this is something that I can subscribe to. So it will be an observable. So the way that I do this, I say return new observable. Still, and then inside that observable, then I have my observer. The observer then will be also an observer of any. And then this guy, I'll just be like this, right? Of course I need to import observer. And then out of this, then inside is where I'm gonna perform the call to the HTTP. So inside of the HTTP, then I do this that HttpClient that get. This is gonna be a get. The get will be actually constructing that URL. So it would be, I'll use like this. I'll use this way of like doing the variable interpolation, which is like using $ and squiggly. So I'll do base URL. Right, plus slash, and then let me see what my endpoint is called. It's just called get attractions. That's all. Does this have the slash at the end? There you go. So I don't have to do that. So I just have to say get all attractions. Like this is that. And then what do I get after this? So remember, like when I get that, I just have to this is the HTTP, so I have to subscribe to it because it also returns an observable on its own. And then I just have to say that subscribe, and then here I'll just do response. I could do any for now. And then I'll be returning, say it says like, so you have to do it like this instead, and just do this. And then here you could do that, but you see like the, you could do blah, 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 that subscribe, and then there you go. So you get your response. And then the response could be any particular type right now. This is remote view user declaration. I'm actually going to be using it. So wait a second. So after I do the subscription, so you let me just move this down so you can see it. So I make the call, I get all the attractions, I subscribe, and then what I do is whoever subscribes to this, I'm just going to forward it along. And then what I'll do is I'll just complete this call. So the way you do it is use the observer. So you do observer.next response. That means whoever subscribes to this will be listening to this. Will be listening, and then you can just receive it straightforward. And then after I pass it through the pipeline, all I have to do is just observer.complete. I just always do this, just keep it like that. And then, for example, you see I'm handling, let's say, the positive response, but I could also then handle the error. And then I can say error here. I handle the error. If there was any error, I'll say observer.next. Whatever, I can even pass like something in here. I can do observer.error, and then that I can pass like maybe some information in here, like, oh, it failed or whatever. And then I do observer.complete. So whether it succeeded or not, I still notify whoever subscribes to this. And then actually I can even pass the whole error. There you go. So I can then use it. So there you go. So I make it in such a way that even if it's like I'm wrapping the HTTP client implementation, I provide entry points into the service so that you can actually know when if it was successful, what did you get through the successful call, and if not, if there was an error, then I just send you the error. So stuff like that. So the way that I'll do this is just I'll copy paste all the other ones. It will pretty much be the same thing. So if I just do get all attractions, this is attractions by activity. So I have one called get attractions by activity. So I'll just grab the same one. So it will be get attraction, actually the same thing, like this guy, get attractions by activity. And then I have another endpoint called get top attractions. So I'll do the same thing, grab this guy, copy, paste. It will be called get top attractions. And I think I already have that endpoint called so get top attractions. There you go. So see, even in like very simple, I'm just making a call to my base URL. I'll say get top attractions, and then I just consume it in the UI, and then that's it. So I have my service. I already know that I should be getting some stuff out of this. So all I have to do, let's say in this particular case, in the case of the top rated right here, when I visit that page, I will call this, and then I'll consume those guys in there. So here I keep getting, for example, like the HTTP client module has not been processed correctly by NGCC, so it's not compatible with Angular, blah blah blah. Let me see. Okay, so they made some changes in the HTTP in the module, so I can actually even try to see how, because I brought this over from a previous version. Also consider where checking with the libraries authors is expected to compatible with library. Okay, so I mean I can try if I cancel out of this and then if I rebuild it, let me see, because I think they made some changes in Ivy as far as like the HTTP client module. Because I grabbed it from an older model. I can take a look here on the Angular.io, the latest version. Again, we are in the latest. We're version 11. Well, it ran there, but I still need to see. Sorry about that. So now, why don't we attempt to make the call to the, what is it, the top rated. So if I go to the component, not the component actually, the page, the top rated page, you see this guy right here, have it hard coded. So I should be expecting something that looks just like this, like an array. It has like attraction data, and then it has all this information. I can even parse it further, but for now I'm just gonna consume it raw like this. So for now, top rated tiles, it will just be empty. And I will inject then my proxy service. If I say, for example, private proxy service, then it's called proxy service. Then in the ng on init, I can do it just right away. So I'll just do this dot proxy service dot get top attractions. In my particular case, I don't have to pass any parameters. So I'll just do give me the top attractions, subscribe to that, and then I'll get my response, which is, you know, top attractions. And then my top attractions should be what I'm expecting. So I'm not, I want to parse it first before just blindly thinking that the values are what they are. Let's do some debugging, because this is the proper way to go about it. So I'll save this. I'll put a breakpoint in the sources. So I'll go to my Webpack, and then I can take a look at the service. Actually, not the services. Let's go to the particular page. Let's even see if the console is making the network call. It says something about the action. So why don't we take a look at that also? So if I see, it made the call, because when I did this, it went to try to get top attractions. Let me see if there you go, get top attractions. What's going on? So I'll do, so you see response headers. I probably have to I think it may be blocking me, but anyway, let's just give this a try. So if I now put it actually in the services, yeah, let's actually go there. So in my, yeah, let's go back to sources. Let's go to my services. Then I go to the proxy service, and then we make the call to the get top attractions, remember? Get top attractions, we make the call. Sorry, we should be able to get anything in here. So it would be base URL, which is this guy, / get top attractions. So I'll refresh it one more time. Boom, we're gonna make the call. Boom. See, there's an error saying HTTP failure for HTTP cloud functions get top attraction 0 unknown. That's kind of weird. Anyway, when I try it here and I do this, I think I already have it open somewhere here. So if I do, yeah, like the cloud functions, and then I do get top attractions. Did I type it correctly? Because this is it. Look, this is it. So let me make sure that I am actually grabbing this guy. So go back to the service. This is the thing. Yeah, that's it. And then I just say get top attractions. Is that what I called it? So I don't think I have to pass anything into the like via the headers. I mean, I can take a look at the service, but I should be able to fetch something out of this. See, this is a service right here. There we go, and then I get all that information, all that good stuff. That's awesome. So if I save all, I don't think I have like yeah, so it keeps doing that for me, you see. So this is trusted, blah blah blah, total type error. Okay, got it. Okay, so I think it may be blocking me because yeah, in the weird thing is that it says unknown when I make the call from here. If I go, like for example, like to Postman, I like to also do like some debugging to Postman. So if I do that, and then I open Postman, where are you? It should pop up somewhere here, and then I'll just grab this same URL. I'll perform a get to that. Then if I say get top attractions, boom, there it is. So that's my template data, have the attractions. So if you look at the headers, I probably have to pass explicitly say, oh, okay, so let's pass some header information. I'll say like, okay, give me application JSON, blah blah blah, and all that. So why don't we do this? So in Angular, if you want to pass the headers, like if you do like HttpClient headers Angular. You know, in Angular IO, you can actually find all that information in here, and then you can just pass. Let's say you want to pass specific headers to say, oh, you know, this is what I want. This is the specific response that I'm expecting. So you can pass that information through. So you know, you pass options, you pass also what you're expecting back. So I'm gonna be just straight up like simple. See, this is like when you do like a JSON P. Handling errors. Again, you can actually take a look at this piece right here, but if you want, I'm not doing any posting. I'm not doing any post at all. So if you could just do like simple HTTP headers, like, you know, they're saying right here, like it's just this like I want to pass, for example, like just say headers, no HTTP headers, and then that you can pass it as an extra parameter to the get call. So let's try that. Because I think is see, like the get, you see URL string and then the options. So I can do get, and then the options will be a new headers. So I could do let me actually copy it from here. So check this out. So let's try this approach. So I'll do let headers, no headers, HTTP headers. I can import that guy, see, from Angular Common. I have my headers, and all I have to say is options, then options. And then I have to say like I think I just say, yeah, like the options. I don't have to do this. So you have to say headers like that, because header is headers, right? So like that. Let's try this. I'll probably have to change on the other ones as well, but let's just try one at a time. So I do the headers, boom boom, I make the call. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I think okay. So it still didn't do it. Well, it made it. Okay, it just made, that was the options. So let me take a look again. When I pass the headers, it's just like an object with the header, like that. You could do straight up like a new HTTP headers, like right there, but I don't need to pass any tokens or anything like that. I didn't do it like that. I didn't build it like with headers that way. I just did the like the content type, application JSON, blah blah blah, and then in the get you pass the whole thing. That's it, and then that's just the headers. So if I save again, let me take a look. Let's make sure that also the headers are being passed. So we did new headers. Those are the headers right there. There you go. Okay, and then if I do that, so if I let it go, see, I still get that, you know, unknown error on that get top attractions. Interesting. And then of course I'm not gonna get anything. So that's the fun part of this. So let's try something else. Because as you saw here in Postman, And actually, I hadn't tried this service again from Angular. But you see, like the content type, I'm passing it. Of course, but this is Postman. In my particular case, it doesn't require anything else other than just me telling it, oh, you know, you see, there's no authorization, and then I don't have to pass any parameters or anything. I just need to make sure that it's this, just like that. What if I don't do the interpolation and I just do this, like straight up? I just want to see, like, maybe if it's something to do with that. I mean, I saw it. It was the URL. I just wanted to try it. If you know me, you will see, like, I do like a lot of, you know, crazy attempts to try something. Okay, that was it. This is still not. See, still the problem with that. See, accept. See, the content application /JSON. I'm already passing that, but it's saying, like, accept text plain, whatever. So let me just move that out of the way. The headers, I'm pretty sure we're passing it correctly, because in the get, you see, like, the options inside, you have to do headers. So I do explicit? It doesn't do explicit, you know, parameters, right? So you have to say URL. That's just a string. Just skip this, and then you see the URL, the string, and then the option says headers, the HTTP headers in there. So and then you're just passing it like this. It's the same thing as saying headers equals headers, like that. So it's the same thing. So if I save that one more time, actually I won't do, but, and then nothing, of course. And I keep getting the error response. I'll keep debugging this further, because I think I probably have to tweak it so that so that I can actually fetch the information from the services. You know, a bummer that we're not gonna be able to see it at this point. I'm gonna continue debugging, but at least I make sure that I don't go too further, because I want you to see what the problem was, and then I can debug it in front of you. I'll make sure to definitely capture that, right? But I'll have to take a look at my side, at the service side of things. This is not to these sessions are not to actually work on the service per se. We could, but I didn't want to spend that much time just doing the debugging. I could do it like offline, and then I can just come back saying, oh, look, I fixed it, this is what it was. So let's do that. So the service is already created, so please, you know, take a look at that. That's already created. That's totally fine. All I'll do is just bring back again the way that it was. So I'll just I'll keep it like this. I'll keep the services and whatnot, and then I'll just do the tiles the way that it was before. So if I come back to the top rated, then I'll just copy this guy, the whole thing, and then that's it. We just continue working at least the way that we used to. I can then focus on something else so that you guys can take a look at and don't get bored by all the debugging piece. There we go. So saved. Sorry about that. There you go. So everything is just like the way it was before. Remember, we just did this. That's awesome. You know, what else can we do? Meanwhile, the map, I can start taking a look at the map, but since we're coming almost to the hour, this may not be like a good time to spend like a little bit of time to do the map. We could definitely do something else, but definitely I can actually do the favorites. I can try to do like a little bit of a favorites, because the favorites would be pretty much, you click on this guy and then you know that this particular, well, actually for this I need the service as well, so that's fine. I can add other pieces that I have that I wanted to show you. Okay, so we can try a little bit of this component, like the navigation. Let's finish it up in here. I'll add like a couple of links, and then I'll show you how you can inject a separate component into the navigation bar. So why don't we do that? So let me show you this. So I'll call it like nav content. This is the one that I'll call like nav content. So if I come over, and then if I go to the components, I'll close some of these guys. I'll collapse this guy. I'll close all of these. And then, for example, from here, I'll go back out to the components, and then I'll call this component. It's not going to be a page. It's like a component that will inject. So I'll call ng generate component nav content, like that. So it will be nav content component. Anything that I put in there, then it will show inside of that thing. And then there, I can just do whatever I want. I can do like a navigation in there, like a separate navigation. I can do like a logout, blah, blah, blah. I could do anything in there. Let me show you. So in my components, I do nav content, and then here I'll do like, it will be like another navigation in here. Other things that I'm gonna do, so like, log out, blah, blah, blah. I could do a bunch of anchor tags in here, like with the router links and whatnot. So I could do like log out, well, log out probably the last one. I can do like my favorites. I can show here like my profile. So I can do, for example, stuff like this. So imagine this is the content of that navigation, right? That you want to display inside of this component right here that we haven't seen yet, that we haven't injected yet. But this is a separate component. Check this out. So because the nav bar is here at the site nav is here. So this you can even pass it from other components, but the way that I'll do it is actually the way that I've explained in my tutorial in the simple nav repo, how you could do, for example, like a template, and then you can inject that template in there. See, like this one. So we could do exactly this, and then we just pass it as a parameter into the site nav bar, and then whatever I put inside that template below will inject it inside the site nav, and then you will see it inside. And then it will look as if that was even there all along. But you can even swap it programmatically. That's what's cool about it. So let me do that real quick. So I paste the template. This component here will be the app nav content. Remember, this is the one that has like, my portfolio, blah, 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 all these things. I add this inside a template, and then you see where it says nav content. Then this nav content, this reference that I'm using with the hash, with a pound sign, I can then inject it here in the input that I created called Site Nav Template. So let me just copy paste it so you can see it. So I avoided a mistake. So I do Site Nav Template Ref. So the nice Site Nav Template Ref is just an input that will take a reference to any other template in the application. I'll just grab that reference and inject it inside of my body, inside of the body of the nav bar, right? So if I save this and refresh it, and I open this guy up, boom, there it is. So you see how cool it was? So I made it so that anything that you have in here in this template, you don't even have to have this. You could even have like a diff and say, hello. You can have like a hello world here, whatever. If you save it and then you refresh it, you will see that whatever you put inside that template and then it gets injected in there, you will see it there. That's awesome, isn't it? Cool. So that's exactly what I did. So the nav content will show there. Now this guy, I can just tweak it any way I want. I can even swap it depending on maybe a user. Like if it's a different type of user, I'll show like a different content. You can actually do that. For now, I'll just keep it like this. And then this, I'll style it better so that it looks a little bit more appealing. Also the content in here, by default, what I'll do is, you see like that's the whole content right there. So the nav content, you have that, site nav bar, content container, so it shows the whole content. At the bottom, I don't have anything. At the top, I'll just have like the close button, but I'll actually make this even smaller. Site nav bar, I say font size 2.5. So if I do like 2 is fine, and then I'll just add the other guys in there. So I'll go to the site nav bar, close. So in the site nav, and the style site nav bar, close. So I did 2, right? So it's just because remember, this is the material icon font. I use font size to change the size of the icon. Here in the site nav, at the end, at the bottom, like you see that I have the content container, I'll add something in here. Like the site nav bar content container, I wanted to stretch the height, let's say, of the container, whatever height it is. And then, yeah, this is the site nav bar menu container. Thank you. So not at this level, because this one has the top piece. This is the overlay. This is the container, and then the container has the close button. It has the sidebar content. Here, I want to add like a logo below. So I'll do like the logo. I could also inject it, but because again, this is this particular application, I'll just customize it for this application. So I'll just add like another div, and then here I'll do like an image source. And then let's come up with one of these cool logos. I'll probably just grab this guy. what is this, like I'll call this like icon, Toursy, green, like that, whatever. And then actually, why don't I just grab one of these guys, make it into like green, and then I'll just grab that guy. Perfect. I like this better. This is like more subtle, and then just call it Toursy logo green. I'll export like an SVG out of this guy, so I'll do export selected. In my icons, it will be green, so save, export it. I'll save it. Now I'll do image source, assets, icons, and then I'll do Toursy logo green, that SVG. Of course, I need to change the size and all that. Perfect. So now if I save this guy, save all, and then I do this, of course it's gonna look like that. But then now instead, this guy, because they are, I'm pretty sure these are being display flexed. So there you go, display flex, flex direction column. This guy in particular will be flex 1. So there you go, that's exactly what I wanted. So it pushes it down. So this is the site nav bar content container, which is padding, and then but it's still, I'll do flex equals 1. And the bottom piece, I didn't call it anything, but I'll call this class, and I'll do site nav bar bottom logo. And then that one I'll do some padding. I'll make it like smaller, stuff like that. So it will look pretty cool. You'll see. So if I do this, and then of course the image. Oh, okay, so sorry about that. Okay, perfect. I think I was about to mess it up. Site nav bar. Okay, let me undo. Thank you. So if I do paste, whoopsie. Let me just grab it again. Undo. Sorry about that. So here, I'll just grab that class, come over, and then here, I'll do the image will be width 100%. I'm sorry, max width 100%. So I'll just do like change the dimensions of the container outside. So I'll do like width. Let's start like with 150, height 150, and then I'll do like padding. I'll do like padding all around it. I wonder what the padding is on these guys. So I want to make it like a little symmetric. Whatever the padding is in this one. Okay, 32. So I can do 32 on this one. Padding 32 pixels. If I save this guy now, it's kind of like that treatment of the, the little save all. Forgot that. And if I do this, still okay. So if oh, that's 150, of course. Definitely. I definitely want to make this a lot smaller, so I'll do 100. There we go. Yes, exactly. So sorry about that. So perfect. So you see something like that. It looks kind of subtle. You want to make it faded. You want to make it go to town. But for now, I'll just keep it like that, and then I'll do. Let me paste this guy over. Oops. I'll do that. Make sure to align it. Okay, perfect. Save. Those of course I'm going to change it because this is the nav content. The nav content I'll do more like a class in here, and I'll do class site nav navigation links, site nav links. Let's call it like that. Site nav links. They will be my links. This could be actually fed from somewhere else, like the navigation. I'll keep them like this for now, but I'll make sure that when you click on these guys, they go somewhere. And they provide some navigation. I don't have these things yet, but I will eventually have these. So if I save all of these in my site nav links, I'll do site nav links A, and then I'll style those guys as well. So here again, as always, I'll do encapsulation, view encapsulation.none. And then if I come over again to the nav content, and then I do site nav links, and then I do the anchor tags. Of course, I want to do text decoration none. I want to import the color, like the green. Like I could do the dark green. So I'll do import. Let's go where the assets are, styles, colors. I'll import the colors, and then let's do Text decoration, none, of course. Color, let's do, sorry. So let's do the color. Let's do the green. So let's do the darker green. Darker green. Okay, that's the good one. Let's keep styling in the developer tools. If I open this up, okay, not yet. I'll save all. And then I'll do like a, what I'll actually do here is like, remember, like I could probably add like icons to those as well. I could probably do that later as well. But here, like my site nav links, I'll do display flex direction column. I want like space them out, and then I could actually literally say here, site nav links. Actually, I do have styles for these. There we go. So let's do like a like maybe padding top and bottom, or margin. You could do like margin, and then you do like 24. So maybe that's too much. Let's do like 12, something like that. You see, so it makes it subtle. You could actually add like icons on the left hand side. I could probably do that. I'll grab this. I'll add it to the site nav links, which is here. And then out of the material icon, like you know, that I like to use a lot, I'll use a favorite, which is again the little heart. And I think all we have to do is just here add like I'll say span class material icons, and then here you say favorite, right? If I save that, should be able to see it there. There you go. Oh, it didn't persist all the other things, of course. So okay, because I wanted to say here display flex, sorry about that, and flex direction column. So we'll keep that there. In my where's the, yeah, there we go. So my material design. So what's a cool one for like my profile? Is it like one of these guys? Like maybe head. I think there's maybe like a cooler one for that, like a profile. I'm just trying to find something. I can just grab anything. We can change it later, but I know there's gotta be something like for like a user. See, it's like places. They have a bunch of icons in here. Like it's social. Oh, there you go. So like person, like this guy right here. So it's person. And then for logout, there's gotta be like a logout here. It's like logout, sign out, exit. Oh, there it is. There it was. So I wanted to say like log. Oh, there you go. Like login, but then there is a log. I thought I saw like a log out, like log out. No, I know that's login. There's like a log out. There's like a corresponding one to that. Anyway, yeah. So we can find it later. But at least again, this is the vast array of icons that you can use. You know, it's at your disposal. You could definitely, I encourage it because again, they're free. They're vector based. They're pretty cool. You can size them any size, you know, resize them, you know, to your heart's content. And then all I'm gonna do here, just to wrap up, is I'm just gonna grab this guy. This is gonna be what, person? And then let me find. Yeah, it looks like this, like the input, but there's like a log out. It says login. Is there like a sign out? Did I look for that? So it says like sign out. Out? No, like log. It's login. Psychology. It's a cool one. So it's just the login one. Okay, got it. So is it like a door? Exit? Come on, like really? There we go. Okay, exit to app. I live with this one. Exit to app. So if I do select icon, I'll just grab this exit to app guy. Okay, so exit to app. That's the one that I'm gonna do. So if I grab this guy now, I'll do this, and then I'll do like I'll do material icon on the anchor tag. So in the styles, in the styles in here, so I'll do inside of this, then the material icons will have like let's do like a margin right, like 6 pixels, something like that. And then if I save this, now let's see what it looks. So if I do this, you see, okay, still not yet. Save all. Sorry about that. I'm gonna make some tweaks now again to make them vertically aligned and whatnot. So this is the only last tweak that I'll do. Yeah, because I definitely assumed that this was gonna happen. So in there, I'll do the anchor tag itself. We'll say display flex, and then I'll do align item center. And you see that you saw that shift when the align item center happened. So you do this, and then it just lines them up like that. So I just copy these two styles just to wrap up, and I made those in the anchor tag like this. I'll do save all one more time, and if I expand this guy, boom, there you go. Awesome. So this is definitely taking like really cool shape. I'll definitely take a look at the issue of the services, why I was not able to get those. That should be like something really easy that I have to tweak and whatnot. So I'll definitely take that upon myself to fix it before the next session, so that we can immediately hit the ground running, tapping into the services, getting the values straight from the RESTful APIs, and then concluding some of those other pages that do require the services to be created. At least I was able to create like the shell service, created like the wrapper around the HttpClient a module, the HttpClient service, so that I can subscribe, make the get calls, subscribe to those, return with the values, and then return it to whichever component is going to need those. I'll actually add for the next episode, create like that notification component, so we can create like a notification service, and this will be like a notification component, like a spinner pretty much. And this will be leveraging the HTTP interceptors. That's something for next episode that we should try to get in. But at least I'm pretty happy with what we accomplished in this particular episode. I kind of like this site nav bar component. Again, encourage you to guys use it. Go to my GitHub repo and just get it from there, and then you can implement it very easily like that. And then you can leverage like injecting components into it, and then you can go to town and do your own customizations as well. Okay, without further ado, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for joining me in this live streaming, live coding after hours, developing Angular PWAs. Please follow me on Twitter, at DRCoders. That's my handle, at DRCoders. Go to my my personal portfolio, romanjustcodes.web.app. romanjustcodes.web.app. Just repeating it there. Also, please read my blog post in Medium, where I do post frequently about Angular, Firebase, Dialogflow, conversational UIs, Flutter. Of course, the ones in Flutter are pretty hot in there, so you should definitely take a look at those. Yeah, and please continue again supporting me through maybe again watching my videos on YouTube. Please subscribe and like the YouTube videos that I've posted there. Yeah, go to my store, get some of this swag, support me in any way. But the best way that you support me is by, again, watching my videos, hitting likes, follow me on Twitter. But again, I truly appreciate you taking the time in spending this coding session with me in this live stream. I hope you tune in again so that you can learn a thing or two. And that's it. I'll see you on the next episode. Again, live coding after hours, developing Angular PWAs. This was Roman. This was Roman Just Codes. See you on the next one.